at the top right.
It's there. I can't click it.
Still can't click it? Let me see. Oh, no. There we go.
Oh, I can click on it now.
There we go. All right. We're officially live. We have the master of sales, Mr. Steve Trang, the man who's going against wholesaling, the man who outlawed wholesaling in the state of South Carolina, the emperor of the Trang dynasty, a secret member of the CCP, Mr. Steve Trang.
Oh, man. The slander. It's nuts, right? I'm going to go and outlaw the one industry where I get 99% of my business.
Hey, man.
That makes sense to me.
It makes sense. What's going on, Carlos?
What's up, Los?
I think I met Carlos at one of your events.
I think so too. He was here. He was here for one of our events. I think you were there too.
There was that second event for that super big mastermind that I was lucky to sit on.
That was a crazy room, right? I mean, there was Carlos and Sal and Jared Vidalis, all the batch guys, Pace, Jamil,
Pineda.
Pineda was in there. Casey, Ryan was in there. That was a
Matt Larson.
Matt Larson was in that one. That was a nuts. Yeah. I wonder what it would be like if we had that room going today.
I think it would be the same conversation because the biggest thing that everybody started to talk about was growing their brand. I remember that being the number one trend. Everyone was talking about how they can grow their brand more. And then all of them, Matt Larson is the world's best real estate Facebook marketer I've ever seen in my life. I don't think anybody writes better copy and sells better out of Facebook.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah.
And then you got Pineda blew up. Carlos blew up. Jared Vidalis didn't really blow up, but I don't think Jared wanted
to. Jared, he was just trying to buy everything creative. I think he still is. Right? He just has a massive portfolio that he's buying with no money out of pocket.
Yeah. And you got Jared. Then you had Pace. Pace blew up. Jamil blew up.
Pace has done some creative deals. Yeah. He's done some creative deals here and there.
Brent Daniels was in there, but Brent, I would say, was already big. Bro, just so many huge people in that room.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me that opportunity. That was a huge room.
That was a fantastic room.
All right, guys. Today, we're going to go over some more calls. Steve gave me a 6 last week on one of my calls. I'm not too happy with it. I've been working on my tonality all week. And I've yet to get pushback on the thing you told me to say at the beginning. Great. So how much were you looking to walk away with when you did sell the property? No pushback, just like you said.
Isn't that crazy?
I always give an answer. You'd think there would be, and there's 0.
Yeah.
And then I still ask again at the end.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I am struggling with is building rapport, though. I don't know what it is, but I'm really, really struggling. My calls are 15 to 20 minutes, but I'm not feeling the connection.
Have you in the past?
I have. But a lot of these people, I can't crack them.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the part of it, I'm curious, right? Because I've witnessed your journey from the outside, right? Your trajectory, but being in the living room and connecting with people, I wonder. I'll put this another way: we got other friends, right? Mutual friends, and we all started as a buyer's agent, right? And as a buyer's agent, you had to go in there, you had to laugh with them, you had to connect with them, right? And then eventually you start working with sellers. So you're a listing agent. As you're a listing agent, you get a lot less patience with buyer's agents or with buyers, right? Because you have to show so many properties. Seller, you got to meet once, right? Maybe twice. It was 2 appointments, right? Then you get a signed agreement. And then you work with them for 6 months, right? With buyer, you got to entertain them every single house, right? I show you 5 houses today. I show you 5 houses tomorrow. I show you 5 houses next week, right? Every time I got to entertain you, right? And then, so as you become a good listing agent, you become less patient with buyers. And then you learn wholesaling. And now you got patience for nobody, right? Because wholesaling is like you meet with them once,
Yeah.
right? For like an hour and you're done, right? Like your team takes care of the rest. And then you become a business owner. As a business owner, how long are you meeting with people? Like, all right, what are you looking to need? Okay, you're looking for a VA. You want some cold calling? All right, I got you, right? 10 to 15 minutes. And maybe even then, like you at some point transcended that. And now you had your VAs selling on VA services. And now you're just looking at books. Now you're just talking to other people. So like I'm curious how your patience has evolved or devolved over this period of time.
I'll give you that. Because I legitimately, so like for our last company, I didn't have to talk to anyone. I just talked to our sales reps.
Yeah.
We do like sales training, but then we had a point in time like we had a sales trainer. And so like
Yeah.
I didn't have to sell anything. Like the company just ran.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really have to do a lot of that.
How much patience have you had to like now it's just like with your girl and your kid. That's it. That's the only place you're practicing patience.
That's a
So
fuck ton of patience with my son. I'll tell you what.
yeah, right. So I'm looking at that, and another thing too is, I mean, there's nothing personal here, right? But you're a maverick. You're pretty hard charging, and so your ability to connect at a superficial level is probably pretty good, but the ability to get deep and like feel what's going on, or really get deep into their world, it's a little harder, right? Like, whereas I'm pretty cold, generally speaking, but I can totally understand the misery someone's going through. And I will sit here all day while you cry about how awful everything is.
So I would say at the beginning, I really struggled with this until I went through true misery myself. And then it was easier for me to relate. And then I could be like, yeah, I'm Jesus Christ. I'm so sorry. That must be so hard. Like I've been through some hard stuff too. And at least I have empathy. You know what I'm saying? To where like before there was zero empathy. It's like, are we selling? Are we not selling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would say that's helped me out a little bit.
Right. So I think the other thing too, you have to remember that that this is an act. How much acting are you doing here?
And that goes into my tonality thing.
Right. Like, did we talk about last week getting pulled over by police?
Yeah. And you said, I'm just such a straightforward person. I'm like, I know I was speeding, bro. Like, just give me the ticket. Like, let's get this over with. I was going ham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To where I'm not necessarily trying to like sell myself out of it.
But it's the same thing here. How's it different talking yourself out of a ticket than buying someone's house?
You're right. It's not.
It's that or recruiting. Right? Like you have to recruit some talent.
I have charisma for that.
Okay. Let me put this another way. So I work for Stratton, right? It's 9:00 in the morning. I walk into the office. I just had my kid was vomiting all night, didn't get a good night's sleep. On the way out, my wife picks a fight with me. Maybe I picked a fight with her. Either way, we had a fight, and you see what happens after a fight. Okay? I walk in and I take a hot lead. I got a PPC lead that came in at 8:55 a.m. and I shit all over it. Are you gonna be like, well, Steve was going through some stuff, or are you gonna say, Steve, you're a professional. Get your stuff together and run the sales call the right way?
So I created the core values for our company this weekend, and I streamed it. And one of the core values is it's a sports team mentality. Pull your shit together. We can talk about it after work hours. If you need some time, you should step out. But if you are in the game, there are no excuses because we're in the game.
Right. So then describe what the game is when we're buying a house.
We're selling.
Be the person they need you to be.
Okay. Okay. Be the person they need you to be. Some of these people, though, it's not like the people who open up. It's these people who don't open up, and I can't find I can't punch through a hole somewhere. Generally,
Okay.
I can find some little sliver, and I can
Mhm.
go into there. I can open up the entire hallway, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. I have it now.
Yeah. Are you pulling away? Are you telling them they got options? You're like, I'm not good. I'm not the guy for you. Sounds like you're really smart. You probably figured this all out already. I don't understand why we're talking.
No, okay. Could do some more takeaways.
Right? Like
You
it's
think the
that
takeaways will build rapport?
I wouldn't necessarily build rapport so much as it will cause them to reveal the cards that they're keeping close to their chest. I've got
When
my
people
cards
don't
here.
engage.
I'm not going to show it to you, right? Like I don't want you to take advantage of me, Stratton. Okay? You called me. I just want a number. I don't want you to take advantage of me. I know how you dirty cash buyers work, right? And then you say, like, well, you know what? I'm not sure this is gonna be a good fit. It doesn't sound like you're really motivated. Like, well, hang on, I am motivated. I do have to sell. Right? Like
Okay.
that's what we're looking for.
Because they'll answer the questions, and I've threw in the personal thing too. Like I'm gonna ask you some questions. Some of them may seem personal. All I'm trying to do is find out more about the house. Is that okay?
Mhm.
And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Never had any pushback.
Why are you asking questions about the house? Like, I guess what did you say right there? I need to ask you some questions about the house. Was that what you said?
No, I'm gonna ask you some questions. Some of them might be personal. All I'm trying to do is find out more about the house. Is that okay?
Yeah, but why did you throw in that part about the house?
Make it easier
For who?
on me. On
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
On me.
So you're not
So
showing them
I
a game
couldn't
day.
even throw that in there.
Are you a
Okay.
cheerleader or are you a quarterback?
Fuck. All right. All right. All right. All right. I'll leave that out too. I'll leave that out too.
Yeah, right. Because when we say things for our own benefit and not for their benefit, then what impression are we giving them?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. All right. Let's get into some of these leads. I'm tired of getting beat up. Is there anything else that I'm missing that I need to think about?
You're ready for it. Get out there. Go crush.
Oh, I am gonna go crush. I'm gonna go crush. I always crush.
That's the hype conversation I have with my kids. Hey, all the work you've done brought you here to today. Just show up and do your thing.
All right. Where is we got an offer to make on one of them? I just can't find her.
I'm sorry, the person you are trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Please try your call again later. Goodbye.
Next. All right. That was a perfect need to get an offer too. Steve, what is the perfect offer script? Like when you're going to make an offer in a nutshell.
So we already had a conversation about us buying your house,
Okay.
right? Like, okay. So, hey, Stratton, remember earlier today? There's a little bit of echo, by the way. Hey, Stratton, remember earlier today we were talking about how we were going to figure out this house we're going to buy, and if the price we offer you didn't work for you, you're going to tell me no. And if it did make sense, if the number worked for you, then we're going to put everything in writing. We're going to work together. Like, yes, great. All right. So just so we're on the same page here, earlier today you were saying you were looking to get an offer where you'd be able to walk away with at least $35,000? Okay.
Yeah.
And we're still on the same page here. That if we could give you an offer, or we could pay you an amount where you can walk away $35,000, that you feel comfortable putting everything in writing today.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you in front of your computer?
Yes, actually, I am. Well, I'm in front of my phone.
In front of your phone. Okay, great. You're able to pull up your email from there?
Yes.
Okay, great. Go ahead and open it.
Okay.
And there's an email there from me.
Okay.
All right, you got it?
Yep, I have it.
Okay. Now, in the past, Stratton, what people were looking for was 3 different ways where we review the offer. One is like the Reader's Digest. Reader's Digest. Just tell me where to go. Just give me the short summary. Some people like to go paragraph by paragraph. Others just like to just point and click. How do you like to review it?
Oh, that one's good. Paragraph by paragraph.
Paragraph by paragraph. Okay, great. So you have you got the email. You clicked on it. Do you have it open?
Yes.
At that point, I would just read the paragraph with them, paragraph by paragraph.
And you aren't doing the whole. Whenever I'm doing a negotiation, what I've been doing is like, you know what? Here's where we're at. Is that something that would work for you? Yes. Okay, great. If we can get there, is that something that you'd want to move forward with and commit to working with us today? And they'll say yes. And then I'm going to put them on hold and I'm going to call them back. And then I'm just going to, take 2 minutes. Then I'm going to give them then I'm like, all right, here we go. Is your email open? I got the green light.
Yeah. So 2 things. First, if I can pay the price, what happens next? Right? If I can pay that price, is that something you're ready to move forward today? It's still a little forward leaning, right? Like we want to be completely neutral. We want to be completely neutral. If I can pay that price, what happens next? Right? Because if I say, is that something you'll do today? You can give me a counterfeit yes. Say if I can give you that price, what happens next? You're not going to give me a counterfeit story, right? That's the first thing. Second thing, hey, I was able to give you a green light. Instead of freaking we're still buying houses in South Carolina. It's just going to be wholesale. We're just not going to wholesale. We're just not going to market it, right? Okay, so it wouldn't be necessarily, hey, I got the green light. As it's just, hey, do you have your agreement open, right? Because I already said, like, hey, you were saying this is good. You feel comfortable. At this point, we're just going over the contract.
Okay. Because one thing I'm trying to work on is I want to make sure we get every penny, because I found myself not negotiating hard enough at times just to get a deal done. And so I would prefer to where like I didn't like try and push back and like go for the extra $5,000.
Do the numbers work?
The numbers work, but could they be better?
I mean, do you struggle?
What do you mean?
All right, tell me how much you need to walk away with, Trenton.
I need to walk away with about $50,000.
How much?
$50,000.
$50,000.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do that.
Okay, then there's no reason for us to talk anymore.
Okay. So it's over?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I've had this happen multiple times, and they just hang up.
Really?
Yes.
They just hang up.
That's
That's
like
odd.
they're just like mad. And because like it's the people who all call out. This will be earlier in the sales call, right? And I'm
Gotcha.
like, $50,000.
Well, don't negotiate in the beginning. Like it's. I would.
This will be the second price. This will be the second price time.
You've gone through pain.
Gone through pain. Second price time. And then I'm not getting a whole lot of pain out of them. And so my thing is, I'm just going to call them out. Like, honestly, sir, I don't know if we could do that.
Well, I would say it's a moot point to even talk about price again. If you can't find any pain.
I'm trying just to take them through the script again to see if I can get anything out of it.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the point of making an offer later on or negotiating if there's not a lot of pain is like you're negotiating price just because you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you're going to college because you're supposed to.
And to get more reps. I think shitty leads are good for practice.
Yeah, I think you should, right? But I think you should have walked away earlier.
Okay.
Right? Hey, Stratton, look, we've been talking for like 30 minutes now, and I haven't heard one reason why we should even work together. Because if they're not motivated, right? Like, I'm not saying don't ever make any offers, right? But like, if you make an offer on an unmotivated lead, you're making an offer because that's your KPI, right? Like, you have to satisfy management. Your boss, Dean, is gonna be like, Stratton, where's my offer?
Shut the fuck up. I do try and hold myself accountable though to just like, hey, let's get out as many offers as possible. Everybody, and I got this kind of from Brewer. Brewer's like, everybody gets an offer.
Everybody gets an offer. That's fine, right? But just know, like, if you get an offer that lands on an unmotivated seller, this is like, what would be this would be, what's the best way to describe it? This would be like you hitting a home run against an all-star pitcher. It's just not supposed to happen. Could you? Right. If you get 10,000 swings at a baseball, at the diamond, maybe you'll get a home run. Maybe, right? Probably more like 100,000 pitches, right?
Yeah, 100,000.
Right. And so, like, if you get an offer, you make an offer on an unmotivated prospect, they should hang up on you. Like, it's just, what other reaction could there be? Right?
Fair
like
enough.
You call me today and you offer me 400,000 for my house. I'm going to hang up on you. Like, I don't have that motivation.
Okay. This guy says, does utilizing a third-party AI underwriting make negotiating easier? For me, RJ Bates believes one thing. I think I should never be the point of contention in a negotiation. Whether it's I'm talking to someone and I got to talk to my wife, whether I have to talk to our managers, it's always someone else. Mm-hmm. It makes it easier and less contentious in the negotiation. I wholeheartedly believe this. I don't know what RJ does and how he can just like do it straightforward because I guess he builds more rapport. I don't like it that way. I always want to be on someone else so we can be on the same side of the table, and then we're going against them.
I am with you on that. If we're close, or if it's a price I can pay, I'm not going to bring it up. But if we're negotiating and it's more difficult, then I will bring it up, right? But it will never be an underwriter. We did a whole video on that, right? So for me,
partners.
I just got to call the office. This is ambiguous thing. The office, right? And the office, like we had Ian Ross on my team, right? I called him. It's like, why are you calling me? I told the homeowner I had to call the office. It's like, why are you calling me? It's like, I have to call somebody. I told her I was going to call the office. Right? I was like, here's what I'm going to do. He's like, I don't care. Do whatever you want. Right? Yeah, like you could utilize a third party to make negotiating easier, but I would really use it more to close the gap than it is to negotiate, right? And negotiating, majority of it, I'm not going to be bringing someone else in. I'm not going to be bringing a third party, right? Like that's not going to work. But if it's close or there's something difficult, like I got to call the office on this one.
And I'm always third party, and I'm putting it on them. And so I need to get better at, what was that phrase you had? If I can pay you that price, what would happen? If I could pay you that price, what would happen next? Mm-hmm. Right? Then they'd say, so, but okay, so if I go and I call the team and I say he's ready to go if we give him X. Is that right? Yes. Great. You know what? Let me call the team. Let me go to bat for you and see if we can get this done today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I'm approaching it.
Yep.
Okay.
Me and you. It's me and you against Dean.
Yeah. Like it is always me and the seller versus the team. It is never just them against me. I don't think it goes well.
It can be done, right? RJ clearly does it, right? And again, like for me, like if it's a price that's not terrible, I don't need to bring anybody else in, right? Because I don't need the extra 5,000 if it's a great deal. Right? Like I don't have this thing where like, we're at 45, let's get 50. If they're telling me they need a number, if the amount they need to walk away with makes me 45,000, I'm not going to go get the other $3,000 to $5,000.
Okay, but I want to go for that $3,000 to $5,000 because I don't want them to have seller's remorse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still doing it because I don't want seller's remorse.
You can struggle. You can get them to come down a little bit. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying don't bring in a third party to get the last 35,000. Right? Like if it's like tight and we got to negotiate, okay, like we can bring in a third party. Like if it's a tough negotiation. But if they're like, yeah, I'm ready to go, I just need like this amount, struggle, hem and haw, right? And then, okay, I think we can make that happen.
Okay. Yeah. Because seller's remorse freaks me out as well.
Of course. So that's why we got the installment method.
What is the installment method?
Installment method is just another strategy that's been around forever, right? And you get equitable ownership in the property. So you're familiar with contract for deed, agreement for sale, right? Land contracts, right? It's all those same things. All we're doing is we're adding a new pitch to it, like a new piece to it, which is basically you allow us to market the property. So you agree to an agreement for sale. Now I am on the title, not the deed. I'm on the title. And now I get to go market the property on the MLS. And you can't change your mind.
No matter what.
I'm on title. How are you going to change how are you going to change your mind? Right? Like in Tennessee, they outlawed memorandums, is my understanding.
Oh, damn.
Right? So if you're in a state where they outlaw memorandums, what do you have to protect yourself other than actually be on title?
I'm going to have to bring Devin on so he can coach me up on it.
Yeah.
And is it legal in all the states?
I mean, it's been legal in all states for over 100 years. I can't imagine why it would stop being legal.
And so this method is the method that you were pushing and why you outlawed wholesaling in the first place, correct?
This is the solution to get around regulations against wholesaling.
So this is why you outlawed wholesaling. You're like, you know what? No, Steve Trang's way is going to be better. Everyone has to pay me to learn how to do this. And then that's your play.
This is a lot of smart people have said, we get paid to solve problems. A problem was created by the South Carolina Real Estate Commission in 2022, right? If you don't believe me, ask RJ, because he got a cease and desist for wholesaling in South Carolina, right?
Did he?
Yeah, he got a cease and desist. Technically not him. His dispo agent got served a cease and desist notice at their apartment, right? So South Carolina takes wholesaling pretty seriously, but whatever, right? Neither here nor there. At the end of the day, sometime in 2022, the Real Estate Commission made it a point to go against wholesaling. And so some smart people over there came up with the installment method. And in 2023, I connected with them. I was like, this is it. This is the solution. If they're going to regulate wholesaling, they can't regulate agreements for sale. It's got precedent going back to 1880. So.
Okay. All right.
Long answer to your question. No, I did not go against wholesaling. Anyone that implied otherwise is, how do I put this gently? Anyone that believes that I am pro-regulation belongs on the short bus.
You should have never got rid of Pardon the Disruption, bro. We can have so much fun.
We are. RJ's hiding in a bunker right now.
All right. Tessa Patsy. Let me see here. Give her a call. My computer's been super slow. We've been having a hard time getting a hold of people, Steve. We have 55 leads we can't get a hold of.
What's the messages you're leaving them?
I'll let you know after this call. I've moved to dialing 4 times because now if I don't dial 4 times, I don't know if it's going to go through. Like the first, it may not even make it through like the phone system. And then after that, it'll go through. I got this from Greg Helbeck the other day.
4.
What's that face?
I mean, 3 is pretty solid. 4, damn, that's awesome.
4 times. I don't give a fuck. What are they going to do?
Nothing they wouldn't do after 2.
Right. Salute you guys. What do you think's better? What do you think about novation versus wholesaling? I think you need both, and you need that and officially the installment method as all tools in the tool belt. Installment method seems a lot like a novation with cleaner paperwork from what I can surmise, but I think it's good. What is my appointment to contract rate? I don't do appointments. Right now we are locking up 1 in 10 leads. And then I bet you we sell 50 to 60% of those. But that's what I'm going off of is like what's our lead to contract?
Yeah, that's remarkable. So I think the reason why people like the appointment to contract is that you can, what's the word I'm looking for? Compare across multiple lead sources, right? Because like outbound, you should have some general ratio. Inbound, you should have some general ratio, right? So like I think the reason why people like appointment to contract is that if you're doing lead Zolo versus PPC versus direct mail versus TV and so on, right? 10% is pretty good. 1 in 10 is rock solid because I think 15 to 20% is pretty solid from appointment to contract. So lead to contract, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, we're like 1 in 10 lead to contract because like the first week we got all listed leads, and so that doesn't count. And so now we're at we have 130 leads. We have 11 contracts. But 50 of those leads we can't get a hold of. So I could be even better, right? Because there's probably 5 deals in there, like 4 or 5 deals in those people we can't get a hold of.
Could be. I caution you though against like making excuses though, right? Like qualifying. It's like my mom's never lost money at the casino.
Oh God.
Clearly not true, right? She doesn't count the times she lost. like every time you have friends that say every time I go to the casino I win.
Bro, yes.
Mathematically impossible, right? So they're just discount those times they lost. So like I don't think you can say like the first week like they're all listed. I don't think that's a fair representation of the lead source.
You said the listed stuff isn't a fair representation?
I mean, I guess if you're removing them from the cost.
We did not include that in our criteria when we first started with Lead Zolo to like, these should not be in here.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, if you're not having, if a person wouldn't have to pay for it, then yeah, I guess that's valid.
It was like no one would have to pay for it. And it was like a full week of only listed stuff. And then I had to hop on the phone with Drew and he was like, oh, sorry, bro. We didn't add that in our criteria.
Gotcha. Cool. I wanted to jump a little bit more into everything's question about wholesaling, right? Like and putting it on the market. Yeah. I love wholesaling. As a matter of fact,
installment method would be better.
Installment method would be better. But wholesaling is how I started, right? I was wholesaling, then wholesaling because I ran out of money, right? So installment method. So Felipe Bolsanz with 80/20 REI data, when I was talking about installment method last year, he was laughing. He was like, this is basically wholesaling 2.0. Like Novations is wholesaling 2.0. Installment is basically wholesaling 2.0. So I love wholesaling.
I think novations and installment could be great because it's less capital and less risk. I always think about risk in the market. When there's no capital at risk, your life is better, and you still need to take that into consideration with returns.
So you're out of pocket a lot less with installment. However, you do own the property. So unless you plan on giving the property back to the other person, you're subject to market conditions.
I'd give it back if I needed to.
Yeah. There you go.
We've dabbled in wholesaling after close. If they don't sell, then we will renovate. Nice, Jared.
Yeah, we've done that too.
Everything by John. Very nice. I've heard of installment method. Can you guys give some case study examples? Can we give a case study example in like 15 minutes? Because a lot of our people on the East Coast, and so we're not going to be able to get a hold of them.
Yeah. I mean, I did it on my own, right? So, I mean, talk to a homeowner. I gave them more money than I'd wanted to, but I was like, whatever. I was going to wholesale it anyway, right? And so basically the agreement was I was going to give him $10,000 at closing, right? He was going to carry the note for 6 months. I was going to be able to market the property. I was going to pay him the other $20,000 in 6 months after I sold it off the MLS. Right? And
Okay.
So how did I take title? I took title where I am technically not on the deed. I show up as a lien on the property. But the way we have the contract written with installment method, I have full control of the property. He has executed the deed. The deed is held in a trust with the escrow company. And once we pay him off, then a second deed is recorded. Right? So then both deeds are recorded. Right? So I'm on title, but not on
so
the
the
deed.
final deed has to be transacted in order for it to actually go through.
Yeah, once he's paid in full, right? Once he's paid in full, the deed actually transfers. So I buy a property from Stratton on installment method, right? And then I go and market on the MLS. So Stratton executes his half of the deed, right? But it is not recorded. So you signed it, you've handed it to the escrow company with full faith that they were not going to record it until you were paid in full. So I sell it off the MLS. I go to the title company, right? We execute this deed between Stratton and Steve, and then we execute another deed between Steve and the end buyer.
I got to bring Devin on just to know what that pitch sounds like. Because like I'm doing novations and we're going to pass them off to Rich, and I brought him on as a JV partner, but I hate the pass off. Like passing it off to Rich. I would much rather just keep it in house and close it.
The pitch is pretty simple.
That didn't sound too simple to me.
Well, because you were asking how it works. You didn't ask about the pitch. You asked me how it worked.
Okay, what's the pitch?
All right, Stratton. Look, the amount of money you're looking to get is quite a bit more than I'm going to be able to pay cash. It sounds to me, though, it is really important to you that you walk away with $50,000 from the sale of your property.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So what if I can give you that $50,000 and instead of giving it to you today, I can give it to you in about 90 to 120 days.
I'd be open to that.
You'd be open to it?
Mm-hmm.
You'd be open to it, or you'd be okay with it?
I'd be open to it.
You have to help me out here. I don't understand.
What else does this entail?
All you're going to have to do is sign some paperwork today, sign a couple more documents in 3 days at the title company, and then all you have to do after that, in about 90 to 120 days, the title company is going to call you and ask you where you want your money.
So the second one needs to be notarized.
Huh?
The first agreement that's DocuSign is good, but then they need to sign a notarized agreement after that.
I mean, the same thing you go to sign at a title company, right? Like we're doing the first closing in 3 days.
And we
So
aren't
you're
giving them
adding
any money.
however money you need today. We negotiate how much money you need today, right?
Oh, and we just pay them whatever they need today. And then
I'll give you $1,000 today. I'll give you $3,000 today, whatever, right? It's not earnest money. I'm giving it to you. This is consideration to add me on title.
oh, that's wild. But we have full control. So there is no risk on us.
There's no risk on us. The only risk on us, there's 2 risks. We're a crappy underwriter, right? That'd be unfortunate to be in the house buying business and be a bad underwriter. Or market takes a massive dump, right? But if the market takes a massive dump, right? Then you have the option to quit claim your equity in a property back to the homeowner, and you're out the $3,000 you gave to them.
Okay. Mr.
This
RJ
guy,
Bates.
look,
I'm
I
on live with the communist, Mr. RJ Bates.
found
Mr.
out
Trang
yesterday he's
Lang.
not even a real Viking. Like I was like, I couldn't even sleep last night. I couldn't even go to sleep last night. I found out he wasn't even a real Viking.
RJ, I've been trying to call you for the last 2 weeks. He blocked me, and my phone calls don't go through, and my text messages don't go through. I verified it, and he fucking blocked me. I was trying to go live with him last week.
Well, do you blame him? Like you got PTD canceled.
But I didn't. Whoa. Niggas for Trump till I die. All right, this is my show.
Yeah,
I'll say what I
that's
want.
why we got canceled from PTD.
That is not why you got canceled by PTD. Trang Lang and the communists didn't like freedom of speech. And so the communists, the CCP party decided to get rid of it.
Yeah. So let's go back to the pitch though. Like, was that pitch something so difficult for you?
No, it makes sense now.
Right? Like it's a simple pitch. It's a clean pitch. So, and then even with the Novations pitch, it isn't even that much different. The whole Novations pitch isn't that much different. Right? I think we all get into this education spiel. And that's what gets us into trouble.
Steve Trang pitching more anti-wholesaling propaganda. Him and Klaus over here trying to take over the U.S. real estate market.
I was talking to Thanos, right, about like what we were going to do about this population problem, right? And you know what he said? We got to get rid of that Viking wannabe with that, was it bronze belts? I can't tell what material those belts are made out of. It's hard to say.
Bronze belts for sure.
I think they're bronze. Or copper.
Bronze belts for sure.
Yeah.
And then who's this?
This guy will not leave me alone. This guy will not leave me alone. The worst of the worst trolls.
Jared, you obviously lead with cash, then use installment method as last resort, or is there something else you hold fast to?
Cash, then installment, then wholesale, then novations, then creative, then list with the realtor. But we don't go through all of them, right? Like we pick the one that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I'd say it's cash, and then you move to something else.
Exactly.
You could never go more than 2 options. To me, gets very messy. Well, more than 2 options gets very messy and confusing.
Cash, and then one other thing. That's it.
No, I think he goes cash then installment. Jared, he doesn't go installment.
Yeah. I think one installment after cash. Yeah. So cash, installment, because I can wholesale on the MLS with installment. Why would I wholesale? If I can list on the MLS.
So installment and then cash?
No, cash. Always cash. Always cash.
Okay.
Always cash. Because that's where we make the most money. And then installment.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get some people to pick up the phone. These motherfuckers are giving us fake phone numbers. You know, like
On Lee Zolo?
no, it's not Lead Zolo, it's the homeowners. Trump 2024. Hi. Hey, Henry, this is Stratton. You reached out to us about selling your property on 45th Street. Did I reach out at a bad time? Okay. Were you the owner of that property on 45th Street? Okay. I'll call in about 45 minutes then. All right. Thank you. Do you handle those calls any other way? I just move on. Like I'll call back later. I have no
What did he
business.
say?
The son's the owner. I talked to
he's-
the father. He was like, he'll be back from work in an hour.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Ones that ring forever, I never double call them. All right. Steve, how long are you triple calling people?
How long are we triple calling them? I mean, how long will you let it ring?
No. You triple call everybody.
Oh, you're kind of cutting it out.
We'll triple call everyone until they pick up.
Yeah. I want to say when we were doing this a lot, we were doing it for the first week or 2 weeks. I can't remember which one of those.
Okay.
But if after that period of time, we stopped after, I can't remember if it was 1 week or 2 weeks.
When is Ben Toph coming on the pod, Steve?
I don't know. I need to look up who Ben Toph is.
Ben Toph is the wildest dude on social media I've seen in the wholesaling space.
Okay.
A dude out of Miami who just talks mad shit. Mad
I'm
shit.
not opposed to that. I mean, he can't be worse than RJ.
Way more intense. Way more intense shit talking.
Does he do deals?
Yeah, he actually does do deals.
Yeah. Well, I just got
From what I understand, he does deals.
Yeah,
I don't
you just
know.
gotta have him reach out. Have him email steve@disruptors.com. And
What's going on, Q? Anthony, Q's down in Orlando. Him and Alex Quezada run a killer wholesale operation. Silent killers. They're enormous.
yeah. Is that Kind Dispo?
Yeah, that was kind. I don't know who Kind Dispo is.
So while you're still dialing, we are asking people that are coming to our live event next month to bring their hottest leads, and we're going to see if we can spend some extra time to close their leads at the workshop.
I think that's needed.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna have to call some of these other people, dude. Why? And so, why haven't you done that before? And what gave you that idea?
What gave me the idea was my team. They're like, "Hey, we need you on camera closing other people's deals." Like, okay, right? Why we haven't done it before? The biggest thing is the unpredictability, because like you see right here, you've been on the phone. Like, I mean, we've been chit chatting, right? But you've been calling people for an hour. I just feel like it's a lot of lost time, right? Like,
Yeah.
getting people on the phone. Like we did Closure Olympics. You know, we had I remember one stretch is like 20, 25 minutes where we couldn't get anybody on the phone.
Yeah.
Right. So like, do I want people are spending $3,000 come to this event, spending 2 nights at a hotel, airfare. Do I want to spend 30 minutes to an hour ringing? So like, is that okay? Right? Does that ruin the experience?
Yeah. Who just commented?
Yeah.
Only lead Zolo.
We love Lead Zolo. So when we were still buying houses, Lead Zolo was our only lead source.
Besides call magicians.
Well, I'm talking about this is back in January. Call Magicians was not around in January. Besides Call Magicians, I apologize.
Besides call magicians, that hasn't been in existence for I don't know how long. But besides them,
Yeah. All right. So,
hey Garrett,
you-
how you doing? Can you hear me? Great. So we spoke last week about your property. Had you given up on selling it? When you say a checklist, what exactly do you mean? Oh, I mean, we could buy it with all that stuff and it wouldn't even matter. Oh, okay. So, okay. What would be a huge loss on it for you?
Well, I mean,
And so they'd offered you 20,000 and then you just couldn't take it? Oh, and so how much were you looking to walk away with when you did sell it? Mm-hmm.
So the well company, they want to charge me $3,000 just to dig it up and see what's going on, and then plus parts, and then fix it if they can fix it. If they can't, then I'm facing 10-5 for all new well, and that's on top of the $3,000.
And you
They can't dig the well where the old well is.
and you have to do that. So you have to spend 13 grand no matter what on top of the code violation list.
Yeah, no matter what, I gotta have that well fixed. I can't sell this house with the well that leaks outside. You know what I mean? It just started too. I don't even know what happened, but I guess when I called the well guy out, he looked at it and he was like, "Your casing's cracked underground. Who knows how far?" But I don't know. They're supposed to bring out some type of water thing, pick or tube or something. I don't know what he's talking about. They're gonna bring that out, so I'm gonna pay them $125 just so they can go down and see how far down the leak is.
And so,
Because it's not the inlet pipe that's leaking; it's the outlet. So when I say 2 inch over 1 inch, it's a 2 inch casing with a 1 inch pipe that runs inside the 2 inch casing. So when it draws through the 1 inch into the pump, the excess goes back out, to keep the pressure.
mm-hmm.
The excess goes back out the 2 inch back to the well. I don't know. It's a lot of trouble. It's really frustrating, especially when you're looking at, possibly 13,000. I mean, if they charge me $3,000, they dig it up. You know what I mean? They say, "Oh yeah, no problem. We can, change casing." Basically what he's saying is where it comes into the basement, if that leak is below that, then I gotta have a whole new well.
And so,
But if it's above it, they can just change that casing or repair it, whatever.
how much is it going to cost you for the new well and to take care of all the code violation stuff?
Well, it's not going to cost me anything for the code violation. It's not code violation. I went to the township and I said I want to put my house on the market. And she gave me a checklist and she said, "Go through this checklist and anything on here that is not to our standards." You know what I mean? So it's not going to cost me nothing for that.
Oh,
It was basically like stuff I've already got done, like, to make sure the trim's coughed, make sure there's outlet covers and switch covers and, there's, door seals and, no windows are broke or, it's just a bunch of little stuff that a regular inspector probably would violate on anyway.
okay. So just help
My biggest
me.
thing is that well pump. I got to deal with that, man. I can't do nothing until I get that done.
So what I'm hearing,
You can't sell a house with a well like that. Ain't no way.
so you don't even no, everyone's price is too low. How much were you looking to walk away with where you'd feel comfortable?
Well, probably I would say about 35 to 38. I would feel comfortable with that because truthfully, I bought it for 15, sight unseen. My fault. I put probably about 12,000 into it, and that's, I paid some guys to help, maybe 3,000 of that, but the other 7,000 is basically, you know, my labor, what I did, what, you know, me and my son did, and then all the materials. Because when I got in here, like, there was no plumbing. All the wiring was cut out. You know, I didn't know nothing about the history of the property, you know, and I found out that there was some meth heads that were living here before I bought it, from the guy I bought it from. And so they basically, I probably were cutting out all the wiring and taking it back, I guess, I don't know, all the copper plumbing. So I went through and replumbed the whole house, and it's got all new faucets. I mean, I plumbed everything right up to the faucet. Right, the shower got, you know, plumbed all the way up. Put a new diverter in there. It's plumbed all the way to the shower head. You know, and then I did all the wiring. Everything's up to code. I got covers everywhere on all the junction boxes in the basement. I got all new receptacles, all new switches, all new covers, all new interior doors, all new handles, new front door, new flooring.
Okay.
I did a lot, to be honest with you, man.
And so with all that,
No.
and I appreciate you sharing that with me, and it sounds like you put a ton of work into it. So if
Yeah.
I reached out to the partners and I told them, hey, he needs 35K and they say we're good to go, what would happen next?
I guess, I don't. I mean, probably you got to send somebody out here to look at it. You know, I'm sure. I mean, I don't care about that. I mean, you know, it's just me and my dog that live here right now, and the reason why I'm doing it is because I'm relocating further north.
And you want to go up north by family, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna move up there by family, but you know, I'm dragging my kids with me.
That's a good dad. So if we said, hey, 35K, you'd be like, awesome, let's get it going.
Yeah, I mean, it's 35. You know what I mean? I got probably about 5,000 of back taxes I gotta pay. So that's gonna put me at 30. And you know, I mean, my utilities, they're all paid. I mean, I ain't worried about that. The only thing I really got is with back taxes, and the reason being is when I bought the house for 15, I went down with the guy I bought it from. He wanted cash, so we did a quick claim, and because I know they don't, well, I know his son, and he did a quick claim for $1, and I gave him 15K cash. You know, and I made him write a receipt for it. And then I went down, and they said there's $5,185 of back taxes on this house, and we're not switching anything until that's paid in full. So I ran from the deeds office across the hall to the treasurer, and I said, "Here, swipe. You know, here's my debit card. Swipe." They had to do it twice, and I had both receipts that said balance was zero when I first bought it, and somehow, some way,
Steve, do you cut these people off?
$4,000 got lost.
What's that?
Do you usually cut these people off?
The county, I went through the state.
None of this part. But when he was talking about all the stuff he's done to the house, I would.
And try to, you know, find out where this money went, because it didn't come back to me. I mean, and that's what they're stating. They're like, "Oh, we reversed that 4,000." I was like, "I don't know." I even pulled up the bank statement. You know, the bank printed them out.
I guess on this part, yeah, as he's still talking more and more about this, I would probably cut him off.
They said, I bought it in April, and in July, the end of July, is when they said they reversed the 4,000. And I said, even everybody I talked to, they're like, when have you ever heard that, like the treasurer giving money back for back tax? You know what I mean?
And so,
and it was paid with a debit. But truthfully, at the same time that happened, right after that, our Genesee County like the Genesee cut the head guy. I don't remember what they call him. He's like over everything in the county. He got busted for embezzlement, for stealing money from the county. So
That sucks.
I said, well, I imagine my $4,000 went into his bank account. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're making me pay it again.
So it doesn't sound like you're really even ready to sell, because you asked for 35 and then you said you'd still need some other stuff to happen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. 35. I mean, because because any investor that's going to buy this property, they're going to want to make money on it, obviously. But you're not going to invest all that money and then say, buy this property and say, oh well, we're going to turn around and sell it, and make a $10,000 profit. It's not going to be worth it. And I understand that. I mean, I did flip houses for like 5 years for a realtor, so I know how the whole ballgame works. You know what I mean? So I try to keep it with the brokers and investors. I try to keep the price fair. You know what I mean? Just in case. I mean, because I can tell you right now, I could rent this house out right now for $1,200 a month.
Why wouldn't you just do that when you moved then?
Well, because I'm going on disability. I'm awaiting my disability decision, so I can't really make any type of major financial moves without the equity from this house.
Okay. And
Because
so
when I was working, I tripped backwards carrying something into a house, and my arm went through a storm door glass, and it cut my arm up. So they had to reattach it. Now I can't use it.
oh my God.
Yeah. So, it's like I'm dealing with that and dealing with Social Security and disability, and so they're supposed to make a decision on June 17th, which if they do, that's going to give me my cushion that I used, because it happened October 7th of 21, and all the savings and cushion that I had saved up, for like an emergency, I use that to survive all this time. You know what I mean? And because I can't work. I mean,
Okay.
I tried working. I tried getting a job at AutoZone, but I got one arm. And they're like, load those brake pads on the shelf and load those brake rotors. And I'm like, I got one arm, dude. Like, I got the other one, but it doesn't work.
So if you,
I'm trying various jobs, but
so the money that you got from selling the property is going to act as a cushion for you, and it's going to help you move up north. And you need about $30,000 to do that and feel comfortable. So if we can go up to 35K, you'd be ready to move forward, because it'd solve you having a financial cushion for disability. You could get a new house, and you wouldn't have to worry about the well or any of the other house code enforcement things. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
So would there be anything from stopping you from moving forward with us if we did come up to 35?
No, there wouldn't be nothing stopping me from moving forward. I mean, I'm not worried about it, because I have, another place right now that I could actually go to if I wanted to, but, I'm here by myself, so,
Okay.
and then the other house is, my ex-wife and my kids, which we still, we're like best friends still. We're just not married anymore. But, we're kind of looking at like I'm looking at a couple of properties that I was looking at that are like they're like a double type of deal, where it's got like a big house, like a bigger house in the front, and then it's got like a smaller house in the back.
Okay.
It's got like a small barn. So that's what I'm kind of looking at right now.
With all that being said, I think I have about all the info I need. Are you in front of a
Okay.
computer or anything, or do you have your email on your phone?
Email on my phone.
Okay. If you just give me 5-10 minutes, I'm going to call the team and see what we can make happen. And then I'll get back to you.
Excuse me. Okay.
Awesome. All right, thanks. I don't think it's good enough. I don't think we could even make any money. We're dealing with like under $100,000 houses.
Okay, so where do you need to be?
I have in my notes right here that I'd want to be at like 20. In order, I mean, because we're gonna essentially, I'll shell out $500 for a and one thing I'm always thinking about when I'm doing these, if they've had other people come at them and tell them this is the price I need to be at or we can't make any money, there's no point in me going and locking it up at a higher price point than that and trying to dispo it. Is like what always goes through my head.
I wouldn't put like all my weight on it. I put some weight on it, but I wouldn't put all my weight on it.
So I'm looking at it. Let's see. The backyard is like a main street, which is kind of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like the side yard is. And nothing's really. Some stuff sells for like $5,000. That's what's hard about these dinky little shit markets.
Yep.
So you got one that sold for $0. One that sold for $235, but that's like an office building. One sold for 42. One sold for 46. It's the same square footage, but if it needs a new well, the numbers ain't numbering.
Mm-hmm.
And they could say installment or novation. The numbers still don't number with that.
No.
In my opinion. What do you think, Steve-O?
What do you think you could sell for on MLS after everything's said and done? Like after you put money into it?
Let me see here. I haven't even gone that far yet. I bet you it's only like 80.
Okay. You can put all this money into it. And the other thing too, like with these rural properties, what I learned from RJ is like it's a lot harder to move some of these properties that need rehab.
So this one isn't necessarily rural, but it's in fucking Flint, Michigan. So it may not be rural, but it's in
not
Flint.
much better.
Yeah. And it's so hard to pull comps out of Flint because they don't list any square footage, bedrooms, or bathrooms. It's just what stuff's selling for. So like 69, 89, 116, 67, 60, 60, 50, 195, 75, 80. And there's one on the street that sold for 80, one on the street that sold for 116.
Well, what are you gonna offer them?
These are the guys I don't even want to call back because I don't want to waste my time. It'd be like 20, but the pain's not there. And this is what we were talking about earlier.
Payne's not there, but he has to put money, he has to come out of pocket. Right? Like what could be doing instead of paying $3,000 on this thing? That's Payne. Right? Like would you rather?
So this one's 1,500 square feet, and it sold for 116. Way nicer.
Yeah, I would disagree with you that I would disagree with you that he does have Payne. I don't think we've done enough to find Payne. Right? We kind of let him drive the show. So,
I'd already talked to the guy though.
Okay, yeah. So then I would just go back to like, hey, look, offer me your 20 then.
That just feels like
and then you guys
that goes against our conversation earlier today.
Does it?
I mean, he's got pain. Is it real pain? No. He's going to be sitting there. Yeah, I guess. I mean, we can make him offer.
Right. I mean, he still wants to go somewhere.
Offer them 10 to 15K. That's normal out there. I went out to Flint and looked at the whole city and the houses.
Yeah. So I think you got to go back, hit him with 20. And I think the big thing is like, hey, like you were saying, it was important to you to move up north to whatever. And at this point, you don't have to deal with the stupid city anymore. You don't have to deal with obnoxious calls. You don't have to come with 3,000 out of pocket. You could go and do the work yourself. It's an option. You get 3,000 lying around and you want to put some time and work into it and deal with the city, like go for it. You want this done, we'll move up north. You just put this behind you. We can do it, but not at 35.
This is what's been so hard about this nationwide stuff is there's zero confidence in my offers. Like where if it was in California, I could look at it very easily and be like, oh, bro, we're making money. So I do think RJ's talented that way to where he can look at it.
He's very talented in that way.
Throw out a contract, get it done. I wonder what his closing ratio is. Has he disclosed? What is like?
I think he said it's better than 50%. He closes more than 50% of what he locks up.
I'd say that's pretty good. For like
I
the
would
type of
agree.
stuff he does. All right, and then overall, it was a terrible call, but I'd already heard the guy talk, and so I kind of tap out, which I need to not.
Yeah, make your offer, get hung up on. We'll talk about the call.
Okay.
Hello?
Hey, Garrett. Is now a good time?
Yeah, I got a few minutes.
All right. So I got to talk to the team. We went over everything we talked about. I went over talking about how you're going to have to throw in a bunch of money into that well, maybe, how you redid a lot of the inside, but you're really looking to go up north and take your family up there, and you're tired of dealing with the city. And really the biggest thing that you're looking for is if you can get enough money to walk away and start over and kind of live off a disability. This is a...
Well, my biggest thing is I at least want to get my money back and then to be able to pay the taxes that are owed.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think we're going to be able to come up to that 35. Stuff over there is selling for like $5,000 to $15,000.
No, that's in Beecher, man. That's totally that's totally south of me on the other side of the highway. You're looking at that's Mount Morris Township over there too. But where I'm at, I'm on the north side, and I'm on kind of the north side almost. But where I'm at, I'm actually like maybe a quarter of a mile from the city of Mount Morris. So right here where my house is, I got all the amenities. I got Taco Bell, KFC, I got Shorthorn Meat, I got the RV shop, the barber shop, the liquor store, Kroger's. I mean, everything around me is all in walking distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's you're looking at $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 properties. You're looking over there down on Princeton, and you're looking at Princeton and Yale and.
With all due respect, sir, like we look at everything in like the area that's close to yours too, and I mean stuff is still selling that price range is the hard part, especially if the well and everything else. That's more than likely that's the range we need to be in.
Right. All right. Well, I appreciate you, man.
Awesome. Of course. Thank you so much, Garrett.
No problem. Take care.
Bye.
So one thing I would have done there, I would have pushed him further, right? So like obviously you hung up on the call's over, right? But the call's never the sale's never over until they hang up.
I just feel like it's a waste of time.
It is. It is a waste of time, but it'll keep going, right? Because this goes back to the refs component we were talking about earlier. Right? So, hey, all right, hey Stratton. So look, this isn't gonna work. Blah blah blah. Okay, it's over. All right, sounds like it's over. All right. So now that it's over, like, what are you gonna do?
And go back into the cell.
Yeah.
I guess I don't want to go back into the cell with a fucking talker. That's what it is. I'm not trying to go back into the cell and lose another 20 minutes of my life.
So I think the biggest thing is what was it? I like you said, have you given up on selling it? You said a couple of times. I think the biggest thing is that he talked for long periods of time where you didn't say anything. Like over a minute, you didn't say anything.
There wasn't even like breathing room to say, The dude,
I know,
like,
but
he
you got to
didn't
mirror.
breathe.
You got to mirror him just to kind of like
Okay.
steer the conversation at least. And then once he starts talking about the house, I'm pivoting. Once you start selling me the house, this is going nowhere. So once you start talking about the good things about the house, what he's done to it, like I am moving away from that conversation because that conversation's got nothing to do with this conversation. So once you start talking about the house, I'm pivoting. And then you asked the question, is there anything stopping us from moving forward? Right? I can't remember exact scenario. Maybe it was like if I could pay that price, is there anything?
That was after we nailed him down with the initial question, and then I asked him.
I might ask in such a way like, what might stop us from working together?
Okay.
Is there anything stopping us? Again, anytime you ask a yes or no question, it's easy to lie to. It's easy to lie to a yes/no question. It's hard to lie to what/how questions.
Yeah, with these, for me, I'm just like, man, I'm wasting my time with a talker on reps.
Mm-hmm.
A person who's like who we're just having a conversation, it's much easier.
Yeah, no, the guy was very wordy, right? And so you just kind of you can mirror and then continue the conversation. Or like, man, Strat, like you're giving me a lot to work with here. Let me can you slow down a second? And then once he stops talking, then you just ask your next question.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give myself like a 3 on the sales call. I'd already heard all this shit, and I was just calling to like recap. I've been trying to get a hold of him for a couple days and then make him an offer. Overall, I don't. It's so when I need to work on my acting when I'm dealing with these people because like my tone goes away and I'm just like, all right, bro, like where are we at, dude?
Yeah. So I would get you to refocus here, right? This is your coach. This is Coach Steve coming through. Ready?
All right.
You've told me you want to make $1 million in the next 6 months.
Yeah, we got to make $1 million in 6 months.
You're not acting like it.
The math of this dude helping towards the goal does not math.
You want to show up like the guy that's going to make $1 million in 6 months? Or you want to show up with like the guy that's going to make excuses?
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
I'm not asking you to be perfect for 6 months. I'm just asking you to be perfect while you're on the phone.
All right.
Okay, so what's your son's name again? Zeno?
I gotta hop off in like 3 minutes.
All right. So Zeno comes home, right? And he shows you that he got like an 84 on his math test. And like, Zeno, what happened? He's like, Dad, I wasn't really feeling it. How's that conversation gonna go?
I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like that's probably like the first words that come out of his father's mouth. What the fuck do you mean you weren't fucking feeling it? Like, gee, oh my, I'd lose it. Jesus fucking Christ! Like,
So you won't let your son do it, but you'll let yourself get away with it.
Fair enough. That's a great coaching point. I got to try that RJ Bates reverse rapport technique.
Yeah, it's some made up thing that RJ made. It's hysterical. It's awesome. That's how he justifies order taking.
Yes.
All right, I gotta go rescue this wholesaler that's locked in a bunker.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, Steve-O. Thank you for coming on. I will send the Czar of Sales the restreams tonight. Thank you so much for your help. Next week we'll try and have more calls lined up for you guys so we can get these things in. But thank you for all the feedback, Steve-O.
For sure. See you later.